So far today has just been nothing but relentless ups and downs. Not on very bad trail, but it's just kind of tiring. There's some food though. Lots of it. Lots of raspberries. Nice views. Nothing too special. Feels a bit like the Appalachians in maybe Pennsylvania or New Jersey, but easier trails. Not too many rocks, I like that. This is definitely a logging area. I can see cleared patches like that on hillsides, definitely made by some pretty intensive logging out here as well. I've been eating heaps, but I'm somehow still very tired, very demotivated. I have not made it that far today, and I'm very likely not to get to the campsite I was hoping to get to. Which kind of sucks because, of course, I need to make a certain pace in order to get to resupply on time. Going up the hill, according to my map, this is going to take a very, very long time. I've had heaps of waterfalls climbing up this slope so far. I think this one's the best of them all. I reckon if this was on the Appalachian Trail, it would be one of the best on the Appalachian Trail as well. That climb was exhausting. 600 meters up in absolutely no time. That was without a doubt the hardest, biggest climb I've done since Katahdin. Stacking it up to other peaks on the Appalachian Trail is a bit more interesting though. I've definitely done harder stuff on the AT, but as for the last 700 kilometers, this has definitely been the hardest. And from my topographic map, it's gonna stay really tough, and I have another ascent like this evening, so yeah, life is hard right now. Just saw my first overnight hikers in about a week. I'm pretty sure they're not doing this trail in full though. I think they're just going out for the extended weekend. I don't really feel like taking water from the lake without a filter, so instead what I'm doing is going on and really hoping for the best. There is a spare trail which may lead 200 or 300 meters to a water source, but I have no idea if that water source actually exists or not, so it is a gamble. And if I lose that gamble, of course, I'll have to go much further than I hoped I would have to tonight before camping. Just realized I could walk to a creek on the road instead, so water problem solved. Now I'm gonna tackle this uphill, which is easier said than done, but once I get to the top, I'm going to camp. Reach the mountaintop. Unfortunately, there's not really anywhere I can find to camp except for the middle of the path, basically, so I think that's gonna have to do it. Good night. Starting today right now, ripe and early for me, which is now 7 o'clock pretty much. So if I go to my furthest campsite, which could be my goal today, then I'm doing 8,000 feet or 2,300 meters of elevation gain. So that would be probably my second biggest day in terms of pure uphill climbing on the entire ECT, considering that from here, according to my map, things slack off a bit. The trail decides to climb less hills and climb them over a longer period of time. So I should be fine after today, but today looks massive. It's like the roller coaster, you know, way back in Virginia, except it looks so much worse than the roller coaster. But I'll see what it's like. I really hope I can make the whole thing today, but we'll see what my body does, what the weather does. You know, I was hoping this place would be more of a wilderness, but it's pretty far from one. Like a lot of the stuff you see in front of you, that's pine plantations. Pine plantations. And, well, one good aspect of this is that I am getting some pretty good cell service. But yeah, I don't really feel extremely remote right now. It's not like the 100-mile wilderness at all or anything like that. I feel pretty close to civilization at the moment. Maybe that's gonna change. Well, that's summit number 1 down, something like a dozen to go. Well, I can see where the comments about ferns come from. Tallest hill yet. Should probably break 1,000 today, I think. Just bumped into a trail maintainer with an IAT hat. I should have taken a selfie with him, honestly, but anyway, he told me that, well, the trail was good standard this morning, and then I passed this weed whacker which had been abandoned by the side of the trail, and then suddenly the trail started looking like this, a bit less chopped back. And apparently this is what it's going to be like for the entire rest of the way, at least through the Matane. I'd fly my drone, but I'm saving the fairly limited battery for more interesting places, which I'm pretty sure is soon to come. I'm on top of Mount Point 2, or whatever it's called, something like that. Brilliant view, definitely the best view I've seen so far in Quebec. Just awesome, perfect 360 views of these ranges. If you see those hills over there, I've climbed basically every single one of them to get here. And then this looks a bit different. So you can see that big flat plateau up there. That looks a lot more tall and more alpine than anything else I've seen so far on the IAT. So I'm really curious about that. This is Mount Craggy. Not as cool as the last summit, but pretty epic nonetheless. Really epic shot of that next mountain, at least. This is the first time in Canada in which I've seen the vegetation visibly change as I climb up. So right here, the trees are much more scraggly, much smaller than they were back down at the base of the slope. Views are amazing. That's the summit of Mont Blanc. Highest point since Katahdin, pretty easily. I think it might be the highest point of the Matane Reserve. At least standing here, it's kind of hard to believe it's not. The views of where I came from were nice, but what I was really excited about were these views of what's ahead. And yeah, it looks like the hills only get bigger and bigger. Although most of them are tomorrow's problem, I think. This is hill climb number 11. Unfortunately, none of these have been short or easy, but I'm pretty sure there's only about 1 or 2 left before camp. Oh my god, it's a moose. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's very far away through the trees. Last hill today. I'm pretty chuffed about that effort. That was like the 13th hill today. It's the last one. I'm going to go down to a valley. There's a campsite there. I might make it to the campsite. I might camp a bit earlier if I find a good space. But yeah, that's the last elevation gain today. 8,000 feet, 2,300 meters. At least there's some views. Looks like things are getting rockier and more dramatic. Things just keep on ramping up. This is wild. I think the first few kilometers of the Matane really set my expectations low, but those expectations have definitely been beaten now because wow, that's some brilliant scenery. The trail's mostly been pretty good on this last stretch. It's clear that a lot of day hikers use it. But now, of course, we have another of these ropes. Doesn't quite change, not completely. There have been loads of these sections, all with these blue ropes. It's taking some time. Hopefully not too much time. That's official, the day is done. Really nice shelter here, just this small kind of three-sided little thing. Easily within earshot of the rushing water. I always love that. I've learned to really appreciate the sound of rushing water when going to sleep on trail. That was a big fat day. I think about 37, 38 kilometers over some very tough terrain. We'll see what I have to go through tomorrow. I have 3 days of food left and 90 kilometers to the next resupply, so that's heavy on my mind right now. Leaving the campsite now, I think that was the least motivated I felt in a very long time on trail. Like the motivation just keeps on kind of sapping away. I think as I'm getting close to the end, but also especially today, just because it's been a very long day yesterday, and this morning I have a very, very long climb out of this valley. So yeah, there's a lot not to look forward to. On the plus side, all this scenery I've been having for the last 15 kilometers or so is definitely the best since Katahdin. So here's one benefit to it having rained all night. This is Chute Helene. If there's a cooler waterfall I've seen on this hike, I cannot think of it. I'm sure the views would be amazing if I had any right now. Sun almost looks like it's about to appear, so that's giving me hope for the clouds lifting. First summit today, and it looks like I just about popped above the clouds. There's a lot of blue around me. This is big. End of the Matane, start of the national park. Just finished up right there. I have learned by looking at my app very recently that I probably should have booked spots in the park because apparently those fill up pretty fast. So I think I might try to do that at the top of this mountain. It's a bit sad I'm missing out on these views, so I just hope there's more hiking like this coming up. Okay, I really didn't expect this to happen today. But if you see that, I mean, I think that's the ocean right there. Pretty positive that's the ocean. So that's my first really good glimpse at what is definitely the ocean. And that is totally the ocean right there, because look, you can see a boat right there. That's totally the Gulf of St. Lawrence. That's the first real view I've had of the ocean for a very, very, very long time. That's awesome. It's 6 p.m., just got reception for my first time today. And I'm really, really happy with how well Australia is doing with the Olympics. So that's some pretty solid news. Also just got to play a song to myself from YouTube. So that is making me feel better, actually. It's always good to have some music. I've really realized that music can absolutely help me climb hills and get through challenges and stuff. And to be honest, the last section with all these hills and mountains and scrambles and stuff like that has been a bit taxing. Here's something interesting that just happened. The shoe finally gave in. So you can see that same strap on all of the pairs of shoes I've worn. I definitely need to tape up that strap. The sandal is still kind of operational, so I think I'll still use it, at least to camp. If it gets too annoying, then I do have backup sandals, which I can switch to.